What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to make a Fury Warrior guide to hopefully help you figure out what you have to do as a Fury Warrior in the new pre-patch. So I'm going to go over everything as quickly but as efficiently as possible so you can understand it. Let me just log in real quick. Alright, the first thing I'm going to go over is there's a few changes to the abilities with Fury Warriors. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is that Wild Strike has been removed and we now have Furious Slash. And then also, we have a new ability called Rampage, and I'll go over what all the abilities do later on. But there's another new ability called Battle Cry, and then like I said, I'll go over what they do later. Alright, so those are basically the three new abilities you're going to have, and the things that have been taken out. The worst thing that's been taken out is Fury Warriors no longer have Die by the Sword, so that really blows, but I'm going to go over some ways to maybe have a little bit better survivability, but it does suck not having Die by the Sword. So first thing I'm going to do is go into Talents. Alright, now we have a whole new talent tree, and some abilities we used to have regularly we're not going to have, and some that weren't talents are going to be talents and different things like that. So first off, with your level 15 talent, you're going to have War Machine, Endless Rage, and Fresh Meat. Fresh Meat and War Machine I think are garbage. You can try them out. This is all about personal preference, so you want to try everything out, get different builds, but this is personally what I like. So I go with Endless Rage, and your auto attack generates 30% additional rage. So as a Fury Warrior, everyone knows you want to build as much rage as you possibly can, so that helps you build rage, and the more rage, the more damage. So for your level 30 talent, you have Shockwave, Stormbolt, and Double Time. So of course, Double Time is good if you're versing a mage in arena, so you can charge in twice, but there's also Stormbolt and Shockwave, which work very good in both ways. Shockwave you want to use in more of a BG instance if you're going to stun a healer, and you can stun multiple DPS at the same time, so they're not sitting there pounding on you while you're trying to kill the healer. And then of course Stormbolt is more of an arena talent where you stun one person, so you can stun the healer while trying to take out a DPS, or vice versa. So your level 45 talent, you got Wrecking Ball, Outburst, and Avatar. Outburst I haven't really used yet, but Wrecking Ball I have, and it's good for AoE in Battlegrounds because your attacks have a chance to make your next Whirlwind deal 200% increased damage, so that's pretty nice. But I'm going to go with Avatar, and I'll go over why soon, but everyone knows what Avatar does. It gives you a 20% increased damage, and it removes all roots and snares, so I'll explain why I picked that later on. Then your level 60 talent, you have Furious Charge, Bounding Stride, and War Paint. War Paint's alright. You now take only 20% increased damage from Enrage, so that's alright. Bounding Stride is nice because now it reduces the cooldown of Heroic Leap by 15 seconds, and Heroic Leap now also increases your run speed by 70% for 3 seconds. So if you're trying to kite somebody, or if you're just simply trying to get the fuck away because you're just getting destroyed, that's your way to peel out and not die, and maybe you can peel over to a healer and get some heals going. But I personally go with Furious Charge because Charge also increases the healing from your next Bloodthirst by 300%, so that's going to help you heal. So if you're getting just pounded on, just charge someone else, use a Bloodthirst, it'll give you a decent heal, so that's pretty nice to have. You got your level 75 talent. You got Massacre, Frothing Berserker, and Carnage. I haven't used Massacre yet, but Execute Critical Strikes reduce the rage cost of your next Rampage by 100%, so it could possibly be good with a certain build, but I haven't tried it yet. Frothing Berserker I have used, and it is a very good talent for a different build that I use, but when you reach 100 rage, your damage is increased by 10% and your movement speed by 30% for 6 seconds, so it's good to have extra damage and extra movement speed to keep up with, monks or whatever you're trying to get a kill on. But right now I'm running Carnage because it reduces the cost of Rampage by 15 rage, so that's decent to have for when you use Rampage, and I'll show you why later. Then you have your level 90 talent. You got Bloodbath, Frenzy, and Inner Rage. Bloodbath I've never liked. It's a bleed now, and I don't really like it. So you can use it if you want to try it out in Battlegrounds and stuff, but I'd rather go with Frenzy or Inner Rage. Frenzy is good for another build I use, and when you use Furious Slash, it increases your haste by 5% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. So it can be nice to get that 50% extra haste, and I will maybe make a different video of where I'm using Frenzy in my other build, but I'm not exactly sure yet. Right now, though, I'm running Inner Rage because it is amazing, and Raging Blow no longer requires Enrage and deals 150% increased damage and has a 4.5 second cooldown. And what it means by it has a 4.5 second cooldown is if you don't pick Inner Rage, you can now spam Raging Blow, and you can hit it about 3 times during your Enrage. But this I like better because you don't have to be Enraged to use it, and it's only 4.5 second cooldown, but it also gives you 150% increased damage, so that's nice to have. Then you got your 100 talent, Blade Storm, Reckless Abandon, and Dragon Roar. I haven't really tried out Reckless Abandon. All it does is Battle Cry generates 100 rage, so it gets you up to using Rampage faster. Blade Storm is Blade Storm. All warriors know what it does. It's AoE, does a shit ton of damage, gets you out of roots and snares, and in movement impairing effects, so that's wonderful to have. I definitely recommend that you can try that out, but right now I'm running Dragon Roar, and the reason why is because it operates differently now. And now when you roar, you deal 8,000 damage to all enemies within 8 yards, but now instead of stunning them, it increases your damage by 20% for 6 seconds. And this goes with Avatar, and what I was saying that I was going to explain later is that's extra damage on both of them because they both give you 20% increased damage, so that's an extra 40% damage. So if you're wanting to get a decent burst, you want to add Dragon Roar to that. So that's definitely something you want to try out. I'm not going to go over honor talents really because obviously we cannot use them till 110, but I'm sure that they will add extra damage to our burst, help us survive better. I'm sure that warriors will be a lot better once we get our honor talents. So next I'm going to just go over gearing extremely quickly. If you've watched any other guides from Draenor or anything, it's basically the same thing. A lot of stats got canceled out, and item level is just straight up 710 now instead of 740. So basically you still want to get 20% critical strike as a Fury Warrior. It's just nice to have. And then after that, all you want to do is stack Mastery. Obviously, all warriors, all your damage is increased by Mastery. And in this case, with Fury Warriors, it increases damage you do when you're enraged. So you want to stack as much Mastery as you can. So every piece you can get Mastery on, get Mastery on. The rest, go crit and maybe haste. Haste is another good stat to have besides versatility. So, and then you want to enchant all your pieces with Mastery, so neck Mastery, back Mastery, and get Mark of the Bleeding Hollow on both weapons to get that proc of extra Mastery. And that's all you need to know about gearing and stats. Alright, so now I'm just going to go over a little rotation that I use. So the first thing I'm going to go over is I don't get very into depth with macros because I'm not a big person with using macros, but I do have a burst macro and a charge macro, and I will show you what they are real quickly if I can find them. Okay, here's my Wrecked macro. So what it does is it casts my Trinket, which gives me 389 Mastery, but when I use it, it also increases my versatility by 1056 for the duration of 20 seconds, so that gives me extra versatility. And then of course it also casts Avatar for that 20% damage, and then also Battle Cry. And what Battle Cry does, I will explain now, is that when you use it, it gives you 100% increased critical strike chance for 5 seconds. So literally everything you use for 5 seconds has a 100% chance to crit. So that's going to help with your burst. So that's what that does. And then my charge macro is basic as shit. It is just a charge, and it used Piercing Howl. So it immobilizes them and makes them run slower so you can keep up with them. Even if it's a monk, yeah, they're probably going to roll away, but still it slows them down so you can maybe use your heroic leap after them and stay on them. So basically, the rotation I do is you're going to charge in, and you're going to use Piercing Howl to slow them down, stun them right off the bat so that they're stuck right there, and then you want to use your Wrecked macro, is what I call it, or your Burst macro to get all the extra damage, and then you want to hit Dragon Roar to get that extra 20%, and the first thing you want to do is hit Raging Blow because you'll get a good crit on that, and then you want to hit Bloodthirst. And if your Raging Blow isn't back up yet, Furious Slash is your filler, so you want to hit that until Bloodthirst comes back up, and or Raging Blow. And then once you get 100% rage, you can use Rampage. And once you use Rampage, that's going to get you enraged and deal a lot more damage on your Raging Blow with that 150% increase. So as soon as you use Rampage, you want to go straight to Raging Blow. And you just want to continue doing that until they get low enough to Execute. And Execute is not as strong as it used to be, so if you're spamming it and you don't have enough rage, you're not going to get off that kill. So it does decent damage, but it's not as great as it used to be, especially with having sudden death before. So basically, to show you what the the macro looks like, all the macros, and the rotation looks like. This is what it basically looks like. So basically that's it. Sorry for that random music, by the way. I got a phone call, but I had to hang up on that. So basically that's exactly what that rotation looks like. And as you can see, I usually get around 40k damage per second, so it's alright. But that was like 35 for that time. So basically that's what you do as a Fury Warrior in a nutshell. Hopefully, like I said, things will get better once the pre-patch is over and we get further into Legion. Hopefully the Honor Talents will help us out a lot. I also may be getting out with a arms guide soon. I'm not exactly sure when, but I hopefully will be coming out with one soon. But thank you very much for watching my video. Like and subscribe, and I appreciate all of your guys' support. Love you all. Peace out.